Hey guys, this is Jason, and today I'm reviewing Knock at the Cabin, directed by M. Night Shyamalan and stars Bautista, Jonathan Groff, Ben Aldridge, and Rupert Grint, or Ron Weasley from Harry Potter if you want to call him that. It is based off of the book by Paul Tremblay, and it is about four people abducting a little girl and her fathers to do this serious task as a big sacrifice for one of the members of the family, because if they don't take this task, then the apocalypse will begin. M. Night Shyamalan is a very divisive director. He has made some pretty interesting films. Half of them I do really enjoy, like The Sixth Sense is a great movie, Unbreakable is an amazing movie, Signs is a really good sci-fi horror film, and I actually like The Village. No, it's not a great movie, but it actually has some things in it that I do appreciate. Lady in the Water, it had its moments, like the cinematography is really good, James Newton Howard's score is fantastic, and Paul Giamatti is great in the film, and that's about it. Other films after that, like The Happening, Last Airbender, After Earth, you can probably tell how I feel about those films just by looking at my reaction. The Visit, I liked. Split, I loved. Glass, I enjoyed it for what it is, but it's not great, unfortunately. And Old had some things in it that I did like, but it's not a good movie. And now he has this film, which was it good? Yeah, I actually thought this was pretty good. I enjoyed it, but it's not one of Shyamalan's great films. It does have some issues, which I'll get into those later. Let's talk about the good first. For me, one of the best parts in this film is the acting. Everyone does a great job. Like, Dave Bautista is really good in this movie. He gives a very realistic performance as this character that has to be intense when he needs to. Other people in the group, like Rupert Grint, do a really good job as well as these four people that have to do this terrible thing, and you can tell they don't want to, but they have to so that the apocalypse wouldn't start, and you would actually see the pain and fear in their reactions for doing that. And it actually makes them feel more like people with real issues instead of just making them these stereotypical movie villains that just want to kill this family just because. The actors playing this family, like Jonathan Groff, Ben Aldridge, and Kristen Choi, I also thought did a really good job as this innocent family that you do start to care for and start to feel bad for when they're in this horrible situation. Now, I am going to mention the composer, and his name is a little hard for me to pronounce, so I'm going to try to say his name correctly. Herdy Stefanstad. I am sorry that I said your name wrong. Did a really good job with the music in the film. It's definitely very chilling and tension filled when it needs to be, and definitely sells for some of the more intense moments throughout the film. Since this is M. Night Shyamalan's second film to be rated R after The Happening, this does have a couple of bloody moments, like one involving a pickaxe, which that scene was definitely intense to see. Although this movie's not very brutal, like there will be times when it would cut away to the outside of the screen whenever a death happens, but at least it's not as over the top as The Happening when it comes to the violence. Now, what I really didn't expect about this film is that it really does flesh out the characters a bit, not just the main family, but the four main people as well that abduct the family, like Dave Bautista. You understand where most of them are coming from and why they're doing this terrible thing, and it ends up making the film more interesting once you learn more about them. The story in this film is very interesting. Like, once these four people break into this cabin and abduct this family, they explain everything to them about the apocalypse and what could happen if they don't make the sacrifice. And it does get you to think, are these people really telling the truth and the apocalypse is real? Or are they just crazy and the stuff that they're showing this family on TV just coincidences? it really does get you to think about that theory for a while. That being said, those exposition scenes that they have in the film, while they are good to know and are important to know, but they do overstay their welcome and kind of ruin the suspense and curiosity a bit, like just showing news reports of bad stuff happening, like tidal waves or planes falling from the sky. Like, it would have been more interesting and a little more psychological if the characters were seeing that on their own without the news happening, like seeing little hints of the apocalypse being real. The next issue I have is kind of an odd one, and that is the cinematography. And I don't know if this was intentional or not, but there'll be times when the cinematography would look good, like shots of the cabin or the family just going to swim in a lake. But there'll be times when the close ups in the film would just look weird, like their heads would just be in the bottom right or left side of the screen. And I don't know if that's what Shyamalan was going for or not, but it did kind of bother me. Now let's get to the part that you've probably been waiting for me to talk about if you've watched a lot of M. Night Shyamalan's films, and that is the twist ending. What do I think about it? I don't think it really works. It really didn't feel like a big surprise when that happened. I mean, some might find it as an interesting turn, but I thought this was a lazy twist. It was very predictable from the start, right when they were introducing hints throughout the film, and it didn't really surprise me. And the twist ending for me is unfortunately the weakest part of the film. Knock at the Cabin is a pretty good. Three. Knock at the Cabin is an enjoyable thriller. It has great acting, really good suspense, good music, characters that get you to understand where they're coming from, and an intriguing plot. But it also has exposition that can overstay its welcome, questionable cinematography, and a twist ending that just didn't work for me. If you're a fan of M. Night Shyamalan's films and you've been defending him for years because of your love for his filmmaking and you're excited to see this film, then maybe give this one a watch. You might end up loving it, or you might end up hating it, or you'll be somewhere in the middle, just like me. It may not be his biggest comeback, but I do think it's slightly one of his better films. Like, it's somewhere in the middle for me if I had to rate his films. But hey, it could have been worse. I'm gonna give Knock at the Cabin a B. So guys, if you decide to see Knock at the Cabin, let me know how you felt about it in the comments below. But if you have already seen it, then what did you think about it? Did you think this is Shyamalan's biggest comeback, or did you think it was just as bad as The Last Airbender? Let me know that in the comments below. And as always, if you like this review, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.